How's it going, everybody? My name is Stryder, and welcome to Reddit Stories with Stryder. Today we're going to be doing the best of Redditor updates. So this is the subreddit where people will take, some of the best stories on Reddit, obviously, and put them in one place. This is Am I the A-hole? This is Today I Messed Up, relationship advice, whatever it is. If it's a great story on Reddit, somebody else has gone through. They've compiled all the information for the story. They went and found the updates. They found some comments that really made sense and some responses from the original poster and put it all in one place for us to read. This takes a little bit of work out of me because usually I'm the one who has to go and do this. So it's really nice to just be able to go to Best of Redditor and get some of those. And I hadn't done any Best of Reddit updates yet. So I figured today would be a good day to do that. If you guys like the video, you can either do it now or you can do it later in the video, but make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like it. If you like any of the stories whatsoever, comment down below any other subreddits that you think I should go to. I'm looking for stories in self, I'm looking for stories in entitlement, I'm looking for stories all over the place. But if you guys have any subreddits that you think I haven't hit yet, make sure you guys go into the comments and let me know. Also, I am turning this into a podcast. It is a podcast on Spotify. It should be Reddit Stories with Stryder. The podcast version will come out a week after the YouTube version. So if you guys want to just listen on Spotify or whatever, I'm working on getting onto some of the other podcasting platforms and stuff too, but Spotify is the main one to find it at right now. And also if you have YouTube Premium, you can probably just listen to this like it's a podcast anyways. But just in case you guys are interested, make sure you guys go there, give it a good review, like it, 5-star, whatever it is. Leave comments over there and stuff too. But anyways, without further ado, thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for being here, because we're going to jump into story number 1. Alright, story 1. My 29 female husband, 31 male, got a paternity test on our daughter, 5 female, and it came back negative. But I never cheated. Now he thinks our relationship is a lie and wants to divorce. What do I do? I don't know how it happened, and I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I never cheated. I love my husband. We've been together since college, and he's the love of my life. He's handsome and kind, and while I've slept with 2 other people, both were before we got together. There is no other potential father for our daughter. We were married already and actively trying for a baby. I never cheated. I never would cheat. And I don't know why he took that stupid test, because I would never, ever cheat. But it came back negative, and now he thinks he's not her dad. I don't know how to convince him it was a faulty test, and I'm so scared. These past few months, it's like he's become someone completely different from the man I married. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone, and wouldn't tell me why. I showed him at first, but eventually told him I wouldn't anymore unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter, too. He stays in his office for hours on end, and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning, saying he's done the test after realizing that our daughter's eyes, brown, wouldn't naturally come from ours, both blue, and that he wanted me to get out of the house. I didn't leave, and he locked me out of our bedroom, and now I'm in my daughter's room. This is terrifying. What should I do? Edit. The specific advice I want is how I can prove I'm innocent and how to make sure this relationship works. I want to keep my family together at all costs. Also, I just had a conversation with my husband. He's out of his room now, and we discussed some things. I told him again that I would never cheat and started talking about a list I made of tests I want done. But he told me that he didn't want to hear it right now. We're going to have a longer conversation tomorrow and said that he still loves our daughter and he won't try to keep me out of the house or our room for now. I asked him to hug me and he did. I'm scared that I won't be able to convince him. I just want our family to go back to normal. How can I be a good wife and support his needs while proving my innocence? Hi everyone. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who reached out. My original post got so much attention, it was hard to get to everything, but I ended up making a list of plans and tasks I wanted to get done. My husband was understandably distrustful of me for a while, but he apologized for the way he acted, which I didn't need, and said that he wouldn't try to kick me out of our home. He did say, though, that if every test came back and I cheated, then he was going to go scorched earth. We did a few tests, blood paternity tests for him and me and our daughter, and we have an appointment with a chimerism specialist coming up. But that got canceled because, well, some of you guessed it, my daughter is not biologically mine either. I don't know how this happened, but a police officer came to our house and took our statements, and we're suing the hospital where I gave birth. I don't know what happened to my baby, and that is terrifying. I have my husband back, but my whole world was still upended, and I just wish he'd never taken that stupid test. I've been sleeping in my daughter's room, and I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken away from me. But at the same time, I want to know where my biological daughter is and if she's okay. I pray to God she's okay. My daughter still doesn't know the details, and we've been trying to keep this quiet. The last thing we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid, and she's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we'll do. I guess the best case scenario would be to get a bigger house and all live together. But I don't know if we can afford that, or if they'd go for that, or even if we'll be able to locate them, or if I'm just crazy. This whole situation is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. I mean, are there support groups for parents of kids who got mixed up? I googled and nothing came up. Literally, I'm getting are tabloid articles from trashy magazines that slap the faces of innocent kids on the same pages as celebrity sex scandals and fiction. How do we tell our daughter? I mean, we can't tell her now. She'll tell the kids at school and then it will be everywhere. But we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this. Update. Hello everyone. So apparently a YouTuber my husband watches called Mark Narrations decided that it would be a fun idea to read my post on his channel. My husband recognized the story because, well, of course he recognized the story. How could he not? This doesn't happen every day. Then he went on my account page. Then he found quite a few comments about him that were not exactly nice. And now he has asked me for a chance to post his side of the story on his account so that people stop trashing him. Please be nice. On to the husband. So I don't know how many of you have been down a self-doubt rabbit hole before, but it's not the most logical place to be. It's even less logical when you have the entire internet telling you that your wife is cheating, and that she's planning to take the house, and take you for all you're worth, and never really loved you. And you always sort of thought she was too good for you anyway, so you end up seeing everything as a sign of infidelity. And then you get not one, but 2 failed paternity tests on your daughter. When COVID happened, I got fat. I got depressed. I stopped feeling like a person. My wife stayed beautiful. She stayed herself. I was sure that she'd made a mistake, that she'd regret being with me. I started getting into some online groups, especially on Reddit, that were full of guys who'd been cheated on, lost custody, lost everything, and when someone said that his tip-off was that he and his wife both had blue eyes and their son had brown, I felt really stupid. I did not want to jump to conclusions, but when I made a post about my fears, everyone said that she was cheating. People said not to say anything because she'd use it to hide her cheating and get ahead of me on the divorce. I got the test and I didn't really think it'd come back negative. Then it did. I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, I pulled back. I felt betrayed. I wanted to be a good husband, but I couldn't shake this. I tried to find evidence of an affair and failed. I got another test. When that one was also negative, I snapped. If you'd ever been cheated on, you know what it feels like. When my wife denied it, I got angrier. I just wanted her to leave. I didn't want to go through what everyone seemed to think was going to happen. I didn't want to lose custody of my kid. I didn't want to lose my house. I was scared and angry, and I wanted the truth. I felt like if she couldn't even be honest, there was no getting past this. I took a few hours to calm down. When she came back with a list of tests to take, I tried to keep my cool. I tried to keep my cool for so long. I know I was wrong about the affair, but so was everyone else in my ear. My kid is genuinely not biologically mine. I didn't immediately consider that switched at birth was an option. Who would? I've been through a messed up time, and I don't think getting angry one time because I thought my wife cheated and was lying about it makes me a monster. Then it goes on to, hi, it's fully faithful wife here again. Oh my god, the username is killer, though. I love the username. Here again, I just want to say that 1, I agree that he's not a monster, an abuser, or anything of the sort. 2, I do not agree that he's fat. I love this man very much and have for ages, and we are not going to let the situation break our marriage. Thank you to everyone for all your help. That's where this story ends. Unfortunately, even with the best of Redditor updates, there was no more updates to tell us, what else happened. I might eventually try and look to see at some point if maybe they found their actual child or not. But as of right now, that's all we have. They found out that their daughter was not their daughter, and that would hit. Like, I have a 6-year-old, that would hit very hard. That would hit very hard to find that out. I don't think it would change anything with me to them, but it would change other things, right? And I would be like them, wanting to find out where my other child is. I wouldn't even say my actual child. I would say the phrase my other child, because no matter what, that first one is your child now too. You are their parents and stuff. There is no doubt about that. But yeah, I would probably want to know where my other child is now. And hope that the family that they ended up with was equal, if not better, than myself when it comes to being a loving and supporting and nurturing parent, right? But that is everything for story 1. As I've told you guys before, I will go through the edits and the updates and everything all at one time, instead of breaking it up and responding to it twice, because I just end up repeating myself. And also, to be honest, it makes it easier for making the shorts. If you guys haven't seen the shorts pop up in your feeds yet, check them out. They're the stories, but broken down into 1-minute chunks for you guys to be able to consume easier. So, but if that's the way you find me, also shout out in the comments down below that you found my shorts first and came to the videos that way. But anyways, guys, let's get into story number 2. Story number 2. My boyfriend won't stop telling me that I smell bad. I have been with my boyfriend for over a year, and everything has been great except for one thing. Every single day, at least once, he will tell me that I stink and smell of body odor. When we met, I showered every day, applied regular deodorant in the morning, brushed my teeth 3 times a day. Now I am so paranoid about smelling bad that I shower at least twice a day. I apply new industrial strength deodorant every few hours. I have a reminder on my phone, perfume, and I brush my teeth anytime I eat or drink something that isn't water. I feel like I'm going crazy. I didn't think I smelled bad in the beginning, and I don't think I smell bad now, but I obviously smell bad to him, right? I'm that weirdo that keeps sneakily smelling their own armpits. I have been to the doctor and he has said there is nothing medically wrong. It has honestly gotten to the point where I literally shove my armpit in friends and family's faces asking if I smell bad. They all say I don't smell like BO at all. One friend even said I smell too clean, like a Lush store. I am getting so paranoid, he won't cuddle or anything when he says I smell. I really don't know what more I can do. Update. So, unexpected edit. I waited for him to make a comment this morning so I could talk to him. It was less than an hour after waking up that he said, "God, you stink." I had already showered and put on deodorant. I snapped and asked what exactly was he smelling, because at this point, I'm one of the cleanest people on the planet, and if I still smell bad to him, then we should just break up. He got all panicked and upset. I eventually got out of him that this is what his father always said to his mother. Apparently, his father told him that it was a surefire technique to have a woman never leave you because she will feel too low to cheat and will love only you and will always be clean. Needless to say, his father's wrong. He's packing his things and moving out of my house today. Short and sweet, but I mean, she said basically everything that needs to be said. If you're a guy and you think the way of keeping a woman around is to constantly put her down so that her ego, her self-worth, and all that is minuscule to the point where she doesn't feel like she could get anybody else, so she stays with you because of it, Two things. One, you're wrong for doing it. And two, you clearly suck as a person, because if you feel like you have to keep her self-worth so low that she feels like you're the best she can do, what does that say about you? That the only way a woman would stay with you is if they have low self-worth. You should be trying to build yourself up, not tear her down. You should be building her up, building yourself up, and you should be a couple that loves each other because you both know that you are the best that they could get because you're the best that there is to get, right? Plain and simple. So work on that, work on yourself. Don't listen to your parents sometimes, because if your parents are giving you bad advice, you usually will know that your parents are giving you bad advice. Don't listen to them. Always strive to be better than your parents. Plain and simple. That makes the whole world a lot better. Let's get into story number 3. We are doing 7 stories today because some of them are shorter, like the last one. So a couple of these are pretty short. So we are doing 7 today to kind of fill in the space. Also give you guys more stories to listen to, because I know you guys like to get stories in and I appreciate it. So let's get into story number 3. Sat down on my friend's MacBook and broke it. Offered to pay her the money for it, but now she wants more because she was upgrading anyways. So it's this or she will sue me in small claims court. I had some of my friends over at my house, and one of my friends invited one of her other friends to come over. She had her MacBook on my couch when I sat on it and broke it. Since it was completely my fault, I offered to pay her the money for it and she agreed. She got it 3 years ago and it cost $2,200 at the time. I told her I'd wire you the money in a week to her bank account. She now emailed me saying that as per our conversation, she's expecting the $2,700 that I have agreed for. I didn't know why she added the extra money, so I got her number from my friend and called her to find her telling me she's now expecting me to pay for her new upgraded MacBook since she was upgrading anyway. She said if I don't agree to do that, she'll be suing me in small claims court. Can a judge agree to that? Should I wire her the $2,200 or should I just tell her go sue me? Update. First off, tell her to go sue you. Update. I went through every single comment from the 200 plus ones and I sincerely thank each and every one of you. I did some research specifically for repairing the screen for the MacBook, and for her particular model, it's around $310 for the screen plus labor costs, so I wrote her back saying that since she didn't accept my initial offer of $2,200, I'm withdrawing that offer and offering to pay for the repair costs. She sent me an email calling me a B and that she's going to take me to court. I got served a few days later and went to court. I told the judge I gave her 3 options to choose from. 1, either to write her a check for a brand new one, which was $2,200, get her a refurbished one from Apple or a third party, or even used, which would be around $1,400, or fix her current MacBook since the screen is the only thing affected here and it would cost around $300 plus money for labor. I printed out the email I sent her and the mail she sent back refusing, demanding the $2,700 and calling me a B and saying we'll go to court, plus screenshots for the price quotes from different websites for a new refurbished and the screen fix for her particular model, and gave it to the judge. I also told him that when I offered at the very beginning to get her a new one from the Apple store, she said no, I want the money in cash. When I told her I'd give her $2,200 for a new one, she said okay, but later came asking for $2,700 because she wanted to upgrade. I tried to show him how it's clearly visible that she's trying to take advantage of me. She gave the judge an attitude almost the whole time, which really pissed the judge off and helped my case, I guess. After listening to both of us, he ruled that I pay 50% of the repair costs and she negligently left her laptop on the couch. So only be paying not more than $200 to $250 for the whole thing. If it weren't for you guys, I would have paid $2,200 instead of around $200, and I honestly loved her look at the end as we walked out. Again, end of story, short and sweet. Honestly, at this point, I feel like he shouldn't have even had to pay that much. It sounds like, one, why would you go to a random person's house who you don't know with a laptop? Of all things, for a party or like a get-together or whatnot. There was no purpose of you bringing your laptop. Like, it's not like you're planning on doing work or edit or whatever. while you're there. There was no reason to bring that computer. It really feels like it was a setup from the beginning. Like she brought the laptop intending for somebody there to sit on it so that way she can try and get the money out of them for it. Heck, she probably didn't even pay for the laptop herself. She probably got it from like her parents or somebody else. So she was just trying to get a quick, easy $2,700. But again, quick and easy, story is resolved. It's good to know that OOP just had to pay $200, which even then is kind of unfortunate. Shouldn't have happened, but it's better than obviously $2,700. But let's get into story number 4. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you like the story so far. All right, story number 4. My ex-husband and his wife made my daughter a back brace out of wood and steel and forced her to wear it. Buckle up, guys. My daughter is 9, and we share custody by alternating weeks. My daughter says her back hurts now and her arm is tingling. I have a doctor's appointment for her on Monday, and in the meantime, I am trying to remain calm. I confronted my ex-husband about it, and all he would say was one text message where he says his new wife didn't like how my daughter slouched at the dinner table. They aren't doctors, and there's nothing wrong with her that she needs a brace. I really want to unalive both of them. Is there a way I can get a quick court date or see a judge because I don't want her going back there? When we divorced, it took a long time to figure out custody. Edit. Sorry, the location is the state of Florida. I'm so mad I'm having a hard time focusing. Update. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for all the support in my first post and all the supportive PMs I received. It was really overwhelming, in a good way. A few people asked for an update, so here it is. So a lot has happened since I first posted. I called into work while I was trying to get all this sorted. One of my coworkers has a cousin who is a lawyer, and she knew someone who was able to help me and file the paperwork. My husband played dumb in court, but his visits got reduced to supervised, and he was ordered to take a parenting class. My daughter went to physiotherapy. Eventually, the court reinstated his visitation when he swore he had learned his lesson and was sorry, and with his otherwise clean record, the court agreed. I was against it, but the court ruled against me. I gave my daughter her own cell phone so she could call me whenever she needed to. On her second visit, it happened again. This time, the brace had steel and fabric instead of wood, and they took her phone too. The next night, she left when they weren't looking and went up the street to a neighbor who is a police officer. The neighbor called paramedics and her co-workers. They had to cut the brace off my daughter. My husband and his wife were arrested. They got out quickly, but they have been charged and their infant is with CPS. My ex lost visitation and custody, and I'm working on making it permanent. Unfortunately, my daughter's shoulder was dislocated from the brace. It set back her rehab, and part of her arm is still numb and tingling. She needed surgery and is still recovering. She always played sports, especially at school, and did dance, but the doctors think she won't ever be able to lift her arm all the way up again. I hate my ex and will see her again over my unalived body. Right now I'm focusing on my daughter while my lawyer takes care of things. That's my update. Ooh, okay. He doesn't deserve to have any children in his presence. The new wife definitely doesn't deserve to have any children in her presence. They both belong in jail. They both do not deserve to see freedom again, okay? I'm flabbergasted that anyone would even have the thought process that a makeshift homemade back brace would be a good idea. That putting a small child in a hunk of metal to force them to sit upright would be okay. Would ever be okay. That's literally a torture. Like, that is literal torture. And this woman deserves to be in prison for torture, for inhumane treatment of a child or a person in general. They do not deserve to be out in public. That is the start of a serial killer. Literally, that is the start of someone who does that kind of thing. And that is terrifying to know that there's people out there. Also, it's Florida, so I'm not super surprised. I am from Florida, and I, real recognize real. I can definitely tell that they are from Florida. But that is terrifying, horrifying. But that's all of it. That's all of it. Unfortunately, we will get on to story 5. This might actually be a shorter video than I thought it was going to be. We are kind of getting through these stories pretty quickly, mainly because I don't have a lot to say after the stories because they are resolved. But, I mean, some of them have been pretty wild. Again, hit that like button if you guys have been liking these stories. And let's get into the story number 5. My 29 female parents ghosted me 5 years ago after my wedding and now reached out. What do I do? My husband, 30 male, used to be my boss. About 9 years ago, I started working as his assistant. We spent about 2.5 years ignoring our mutual attraction until we gave in. We then went to HR, who reassigned me, and the whole thing was strictly above board from the time we began dating. I got pregnant about a year later, and my husband and I decided to just get married. While we'd only really been dating for about 1.5 years, we knew each other completely, loved each other, lived together, and there was a baby on the way. We knew how it would look, but I had to leave the company anyway due to problems with my new boss, so we didn't anticipate his causing any issues except with my parents. They, 62 male, 57 female, have always been overprotective, so I knew they wouldn't like me dating my boss, and hadn't told them, but I had to tell them if I wanted them to be at my wedding. We decided to be mostly honest with them about how it was strictly professional until it wasn't, how the second it got unprofessional, we went to HR, how he had never taken advantage of me, but now we wanted to get married and we wanted them there. We did not mention the baby, because I felt that giving them that information in addition to the rest, all at once would just break them. I was only about 4 months along when the wedding happened, so the bump was easily hidden by a flowy dress. The wedding itself went off without a hitch, and apart from my mother pulling me into the bathroom shortly before the ceremony to ask if I was sure about this, which I said I was, my parents seemed to take it well. The ceremony and reception were at 2 different venues, and we had to travel from one to the other, and my parents never arrived at the reception. I called them and got ignored, and then my brother called them and they told him that they were going home. I don't remember the exact reason they gave, but it amounted to them being tired and uncomfortable. I tried contacting them after the wedding, but found that I was blocked on everything except email. While I used to send them a long letter essentially saying that I'm an adult who made an adult choice and I hope they can respect that. 5 years later, I have not heard from my parents since my wedding. My husband and I are not big on social media in general, but I recently posted something for our 5th anniversary in which I mentioned our 2 kids and 3rd on the way. Within a month of making this post, my parents left a voicemail saying they saw the post and having had no idea that they had grandchildren previously, now want to meet them. I haven't responded and there have been a few follow-ups since then asking why I haven't. I don't know what to do. But my gut instinct is that 5 years is too long, and it's about the kids, not about them respecting my choices or relationship. However, I can't help but feel that I'm being unfair, and my brother agrees. Because I told them in my email that if they could learn to respect my choice and my marriage eventually, then we could talk, and now I'm retroactively applying a time limit. Edit. Can't find a way to work this in organically, but my husband is not white. I am, as are my parents. I don't think this is a race thing or that my parents are racist, and neither does my husband. And we don't understand why they would want to meet our mixed race children if they were racist. But this element is still gnawing at me. Should I reach out to them? If I did, how would we go about rebuilding the relationship? Update. I asked to talk yesterday. We were on Zoom within an hour. If it was my parents and me and my husband. They asked to see the kids, and I said they could see them eventually, depending on them earning our trust and convincing us they were going to be positive additions to the kids' life. They asked to start by reading me a letter that they claimed to have written on my wedding day. It said that they were uncomfortable with me marrying my former boss as they thought he took advantage of me. So they left between the wedding and reception to avoid a scene. but they wanted me to know they were here for me despite their issues with him. They added that they would have sent this to me the morning after my wedding, but then I sent my email about them needing to respect my choices, and they were so ashamed they couldn't bring themselves to send theirs. Seeing my anniversary post made them realize how much they've missed in 5 years, and they really don't want to miss any more. I had some questions, like what the big deal was with me marrying my former boss, and they said that it just wasn't what they had in mind for my wedding day and my future spouse. I asked why they even came to the wedding at all if they didn't support the marriage, and my dad responded that he wanted to walk his daughter down the aisle as it was the only chance he'd get. The way it was phrased implied that they had intentionally only come to the wedding so he could give me away, and always planned to leave halfway. And because he said my daughter and didn't talk to me directly, it was pretty clear he was thinking about my older sister who passed away. My husband caught that too, and said that if they were talking about me, they should address me directly, then added that if they had planned to leave, they should have told us as we wouldn't have invited them. And the fact they waited 5 years to reach out was going to take more reasons than shame as a father, he didn't understand how they could ignore their daughter for years, or only get back in touch when we had kids. My dad snapped that he wasn't going to take this from I'm not even going to say it, but he's saying a slur for a dark-skinned person. My mother immediately tried to run damage control by I ended the call. They have since messaged me several times trying to explain that calling my husband a racial slur wasn't indicative of a racist attitude, and he wouldn't have said that in front of the kids, so they should still get to meet them. I've spent 5 years wondering how they were so offended by me marrying my boss that it earned no contact for half a decade. Turns out, they're just racist. It's almost nice to find out. If it was just the boss thing, I would have sympathy for them and we might even be able to reconcile. But with this, it's now just a question of if I'm going to knowingly expose my mixed race children to a couple of races, which I am obviously not going to do. Well, that one escalated quickly. got Ron Burgundy this because holy cow. Yeah, nope. I'm not going to say the word. Don't care. Not going to say it. I know it's in the story. If you guys want to see that, the link is in the description down below. It wasn't the N-word. It was a different word, but it's still a slur for dark-skinned people. So I'm not going to say it because, yeah. Anyways, moving past that, yeah, no, I agree with this woman 100%. If I had a mixed child and then I found out that any of my family was racist, they would immediately be barred from seeing my child. Actually, no, okay, you know what? Right now, I don't. I don't. But even then, even now, if I found out that any of my family was racist, I would ignore them. I would avoid them. Period. 100% would be cut off. Wouldn't even matter. I don't even care that it wouldn't actually personally affect me and my family. Doesn't matter. Not somebody that I want to be associated with ever. Period. That's just the long and short of it. If you do not respect other people, or if you do not feel like everyone needs to be treated equally, purely because of the way that they, for something that they can't control, whether that's race, gender, anything in between, orientation, whatever, you don't belong in my group. I don't want you. You can go away. Because there's no reason for that. That is just hate to hate, right? But anyways, other than that, story was pretty good, pretty short. Completely understand where OP is coming from on this one. I would not have any contact with them either. I understand that. So on to story number 6. And 6 and 7 actually tie in with each other, so this will be even more fun. Story 7 is a continuation of Story 6, but it is also a separate story in and of itself, but it is the same OOP. All right. I keep meeting my birth mom, but she doesn't know it's me. She had me when she was 14, and I, 24 male, was given up for adoption. My parents told me about her growing up. I still have the letter she wrote me that she asked if they could give it to me if they wanted. It's crazy reading it sometimes and knowing it was a literal child who wrote it saying she's sorry she couldn't be my mommy, but she hopes I'm happy. She was open to having contact, but we moved for my dad's job when I was 11, and then it seemed impossible to find her. But luckily, I did. She's working at the small restaurant, and I keep going, but she doesn't know it's me. We talk sometimes, and she seems like a nice lady. Sometimes when she says something like, "Do you want a refill, honey?" or uses another term like that, I want to tell her. I don't know why it makes me nervous. We talk sometimes, and she seems really genuine. If it's not super busy, she's more open to talking about random stuff. I literally drive 2 hours to come eat at this place just to see her. And it's like she knows me already because I'm there once or twice a week for the past 3 months, so she always says hi with a big smile. But man, if only she knew. Update. Well, I did it. I told her, and yeah, it was pretty heavy. My heart was even beating fast. I kept trying to think how to tell her. Many of the comments on my last post here mentioned writing her a letter just how she wrote me a letter. Originally, that was the plan, but for me, it felt like I needed to say it. Oh, really quick, I want to say thanks to everyone for their love and support. Mostly to all the birth parents out there who shared their stories with me. That's what really helped push me to have the courage to confront her. It means so much, so thanks. Everything happened day before yesterday, by the way. I did wait for her to be done with her shift, and that was when they were closing the restaurant already, and waited in the parking lot. We said hi when she saw me first, but then I told her there was something serious that she needed to know. First told her sorry for keeping it from her this long. She didn't react until I actually pulled out her letter, and she started bawling from there. Like, screaming and crying at the same time, and didn't even have to finish the whole "I'm your son" speech. She just saw it and knew. It was crazy. Next thing I know, she's hugging me instantly, but then she pulled back and asked if it's okay to hug me. Of course it is, and we're just there hugging and crying in the parking lot. It hit her hard though. Her legs gave out for a second, so I had to actually hold her up while she's still hugging me for a minute. What really got me was her saying to me, "Look how big you got." Also, hearing her cry made me cry too. She went back to open the restaurant up. She wouldn't take no for an answer. We had coffee, ate a slice of their pie inside, and talked. So many stuff we talked about. She told me the second time I came to the restaurant, she got a feeling, but for her it was hard to believe it was me. So that feeling she had was pushed way down. Because she told me for years after I was adopted, she saw kids that would be my age and used to think they were me. Then she would be crying in public. It messed with her mind a lot and made her depressed, so she didn't want to do the same when she saw me, getting her hopes up like that. She says I look so much like my biological father when he was younger, though. We talked about him too. They stayed in contact with each other in case I ever reached out to one of them so it would be easier to contact the other. I didn't have hope about finding my biological dad since he was never mentioned, so I'm glad they both planned for this future scenario. She told me about how they wanted to keep me, especially my biological dad. He didn't want me to be adopted, but he knew they had to because they were just kids. It took him a long time to get past it. After I was born, she told me. That's why he didn't leave anything, because he didn't want to believe he might not see me again. We talked for hours, till almost 2 in the morning. They closed at 11. She just wanted to know everything about me, but her main thing was, am I happy? Were my parents good to me? Did I have a happy childhood? And I did. I told her thank you for helping to give me this life. We both cried again. She cried the most. Everything was very emotional for her. Sometimes she would look really happy, but then get sad again. After my 18th birthday, she was hoping I would find her. That's why she stayed in the same city. But since I didn't, she always thought maybe I resented her. Wasn't told I'm adopted, or maybe had decided it was better not to have her around. It made me feel bad for not telling her sooner. She told me it's not my fault and I did right going at my own pace. Honestly, she's so sweet. The way she kept looking at me with the biggest smile, it made me emotional sometimes. Makes you think, how can someone who's been a total stranger your whole life look at you with so much love? It's wild. We learned so much about each other. She asked me if we could have dinner soon to keep talking, and if at some point in the future, if I'm interested, come over to her house so I can meet her husband. That all sounded really great. We exchanged numbers. After I left, she sent a text telling me thank you for giving her this gift, that she didn't know if it would ever come. My girlfriend came over and she hugged me while I cried. I wasn't sad, by the way. These were happy tears. Everything went better than I expected. There was still emotionally heavy stuff, but I'm still glad that we got to open up to each other. So that's the end of story 6. And like I said, this is story 7 is the same OOP. This is him meeting his biological father for the first time. And if it's anything like his mom, in the way that his mom described his biological dad, I am assuming that this is also going to be a very good story. For reference, for story 7, I myself was partially adopted as a child. I grew up with my biological mother, and I had a adopted father. Wasn't the best situation with my adopted father, unfortunately. And I didn't get to meet my actual biological father until I turned 21. When I met him after my mom had moved back to the town that I was born in, and she found him, or she found him and let him know, because he actually had no idea that I existed until then. He's a great guy. I love my real dad. I love my mom. They're both very good people, and I'm glad to have met him. But I very much connect with this story. I haven't read it yet, but I can connect with what is probably the emotions that he's feeling, because I too knew ahead of time that I was going to see my dad for the first time, and all that good stuff. So anyways, story number 7, met my biological dad for the first time ever, and I'm very happy about it. Update. Lots of you asked to let you know how it goes meeting my biological dad, and to say it was emotional is an understatement. I've been feeling so many things since all this happened. We met a few days ago. Was originally supposed to be almost 2 weeks ago, but stuff kept coming up. Work, and then I got sick, not COVID, for days. But we made it happen. To be honest, this was more nervous for me because I didn't know anything about him. With my bio mom, it was different because I watched her from afar and got to know her a little before it came out. I asked my bio mom if she could be there too, just because she knows him better, so it was the two of us waiting for him at the park. He was already crying before we even got to him. This guy is strong too, so he pulled me in for the biggest bear hug and cried. He told me he wanted me to know that they loved me so much, and he loves me. I lost count how many times he'd come back in for one more hug. This definitely got to him, and he kept saying, "Thank you, God," a few times. Looking at my face, the feelings, man, the feelings. We had so many of them. Hearing him tell me how much they loved me even back then, it meant so much for me to hear that, and not gonna lie, that had me holding him tight too. I'm sure to everyone at the park it was weird seeing 3 crying people. My bio dad said he cried so many times just driving over here, he didn't think he had any more tears until he saw us. When we were all sitting down, it hit me that my bio mom was not lying when she said said we look alike. Obviously he's older, but still, holy cow, the similarities. That was the same for me too. We bought gifts to, which was a surprise. Oh, he brought gifts to, which was a surprise. It was really nice. He told me I don't have to keep them if I don't want it, but he felt weird not coming with anything, and he's wanted to give this to me for a long time. One was a teddy bear holding a picture frame of him at the hospital holding me. He was 15 years old. It's still crazy to realize that. And then the other thing was a journal. The journal thing was stuff he said he started writing to me years after I was adopted. He was in therapy, and that helped him to cope, thinking he would give them to me one day. His way of still feeling connected to me. I haven't read everything yet, but some of the pages were his thoughts, and like if he's talking to me. How he felt when they found out she was pregnant, then the adoption, everything going on in his mind when he first got to hold me as a baby. I didn't even know he was at the hospital too. It was not what I was expecting. It really got me. I read some more of what he wrote last night that really got me crying. I'm sad to think how much this affected them emotionally for years. Also think it's pretty sweet he wanted to write this for me. We talked about his own life, which was pretty hard, his struggles with home life and the feelings he had about giving me up. Then he wanted to know everything about me, basically with the same questions my bio mom had. I made sure they knew they made the right decision because my life was pretty great. He looked like he wanted to cry when he knew that because that's all they hoped for and it was something he always wondered about for years. My bio mom left a bit after we were more comfortable so we could talk more in private once it didn't feel too awkward between us. From there, he told me stories about how he met my bio mom. Sometimes he'd point out stuff he noticed about me that reminds him of her or me and him having similar likes. Example, I love eating mangoes. I can eat them all day, and that's what I bought when we bought snacks at the park. He told me my bio mom was obsessed with mangoes, even before she got pregnant. While pregnant, she craved it even more. Just cool info to know, even if it's random stuff, lol. It's still stuff we have in common, and we both have lots. Both like hiking, playing pool. He was a swimmer in college, and I was on a swim team in high school. Both love rock music, especially 90s. My bio dad was really open about sharing everything. Like he really was getting ready for this meeting. He hoped it would happen, and he prayed every day to see me again because he had so many things he wanted to tell me. Overall, really good first meeting. I'm glad how it went. He's open to the idea of meeting my parents. After I told them about all this because they definitely want to meet my bio parents again if I'm comfortable with that. Obviously, if my bio parents are too. Let's see when that happens. I don't know how it's going to feel for me. They've met each other before I was even born, but I never had them at the same place, so that'll be interesting. Lol. Me and my parents met up yesterday at breakfast so I could tell them everything. My mom was so happy how it went. She actually cried too when I was telling them about both their reactions. My dad was proud because he knew how hard it was the months after finding my bio mom and not really wanting to make contact yet. I'm really happy to have their support because it's hard not to feel guilty about wanting to know more about my bio parents. They gave me a really good life, so for a while it's felt like maybe to them I'm showing them that wasn't good enough for me and I'd rather have my bio parents. But they told me many times they want me to do this for me and to know how much I love them, and I really do. Finding them and meeting them was hard, but it was so worth it to me, and seeing their reactions made it feel even more worth it. Still can't believe it sometimes. I'm just realizing this has turned into a long post. My bad. Writing this has been therapeutic, to be honest. Kind of thinking back to everything that's happened, feeling really grateful. Again, want to say thank you to everyone who has been on this journey with me. Everyone who sent me their own stories, their love, their encouragement. You guys have beautiful hearts, and I'm happy I had somewhere to talk about all this and receive so much love back. Just want to say to all the adopted kids out there, I wish you guys luck and that you find what you're looking for. It's not easy at all. I feel fortunate that things didn't go badly or that my bio parents aren't bad people. And to all the birth parents out there who made this sacrifice, thank you. It's because of you there are kids out there like me who got to have a great life with loving parents. That is the end of story 6, story 7. That's the end of all of our stories for today. I'm super happy for OOP. Not only did he get to find both of his parents, but they also both turned out to be really good and loving people who truly missed growing up with him, and we're now feeling gratitude for being able to have this experience of getting to meet him and learn all the things that he went through with his life. And it's really good to know that who he did end up with were also great people. That is always a worry for parents who are putting up their child for adoption. Is this the right decision? Is this going to be a better life for them? Are they going to end up with terrible parents? Like, that's been, things that have happened in the past. Is people end up adopting children and then it turns out that the person who adopted the child is a terrible person. So I'm really happy to find out that everyone is great in this. This is a everybody's awesome kind of post. And again, it's one that I can personally connect to with my own past. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to bring you guys a Reddit story video every Saturday around 2 o'clock-ish. It's like 1:45, 2 o'clock I post them. So hopefully you guys are getting those every Saturday. There's the podcast that comes out a week after the original video. So that way you guys can just listen to it on the drive or wherever else and all that good stuff. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it works just as good as a podcast as it does as a regular video. If you guys have any other Reddits that you want me to read, make sure you guys put in the comment down your feelings, ideas, or anything else about any of the stories, all that good stuff. If you want to see the stories yourself, links will be in the description below. Make sure you guys hit those up, all that stuff. Follow me on TikTok if you want to see them in short form on TikTok instead of on, if you want to get them fed on your TikTok stuff too, you can always follow me there. Link is in the description, all that good stuff. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoyed these updates. And I will see you guys next Saturday for the next video. Goodbye.